I got to tell you, I'm already a Kamari Todd truther. Also, we got another tank.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Auburn basketball has a major opportunity tonight. We'll discuss that. Which position groups do we feel less confident in going into this year than maybe last year? But let's talk about some additions. Yes, we got a new tank out of the high school ranks that's committed. But Kamari Todd, the defensive back from Chattanooga, commits to the Auburn Tigers. Kyle Rush joining me. He is the man over at thebarnauburn.com. He hosts the Top Button podcast. Kyle.
Yes, sir.
We get Kamari Todd. I turn on his tape, which is limited because he played at Chattanooga. But what I saw, it's really hard for me not to be excited about adding this guy. I've tried not to do this portal cycle, where it's just every time we get somebody, I just gas them up. I'm trying not to do that. And I think I've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, you've done a really good job.
With Kamari Todd, that changes. That changes. A guy who played 600 plus snaps at Chattanooga last year, tons of eligibility remaining, 3 years left of eligibility. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to come in and start. I'm not saying that, but I do think at some point, if he stays at Auburn, it's hard to say that. You got to add that caveat now because guys leave so much. But if he stays at Auburn, I think this guy has a chance to start a nickel at some point as an Auburn Tiger. I really like his game.
Yeah, I mean, from what little you can gather, what little info you can get from him, it's hard not to like bringing in a guy that's got over 500 snaps. In his freshman year, started 8 games, had a really good game against Samford, it looks like. I know Chattanooga was not good as a whole, but man, no. I keep going back to this. Like, compare him to like what level high school player do you have to get to equal something like an addition of a guy that's coming in with 3 years to play? And in other words, like, is that worth like a high 4-star? Is that worth like a high 3-star? Like, what's the equivalent? I mean,
that's interesting.
It's not every day you get a kid seems like he's already found his position at nickel in college football, and he's been productive in his only season playing college football.
Yeah, that is interesting. With so many years left of eligibility, which I don't know how much you're supposed to weigh that now because of, how long people stay in one spot. But yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of like 3- and 4-star defensive backs that we've been so excited about coming out of high school. And then for one reason or another, they don't pan out at Auburn, or they leave before they really get a chance to actually compete for it, or whatever that may be. And this is a guy who's already been productive at some level of college football. Yeah, I definitely think it's safer to go that route. I think that route has a higher floor and potentially a lower ceiling depending on, whatever recruit out of high school you want to compare him to.
You can talk about the level of football that he's played at all you want to, but it's better than high school.
Correct.
It's better than junior
Let's
college.
compare him to last year, Donovan Starr, who's not an Auburn Tiger anymore. And I'm not going to diss Donovan Starr. I think he's a good player. Did he end up at Clemson? Thought he was going to Vandy. He went to Clemson. Yeah. And I think Clemson's going to get a good player. But when you look at the acquisition of Donovan Starr coming out of high school, it's like, okay, he's going to be good. But in this day and age of college football, like, he's probably not going to be good for you. He's going to be good for Clemson,
great point.
Most likely, right? I think Kamari Todd has a good, he was solid for Chattanooga. I think everything that you asked him to do and those things, I think he did a lot of things really well. He's good when he's stepping forward. I don't love him in the back pedal game, but everything else I think is really good. I think his hips are good. I think his discipline as far as keeping contained is good. He's not afraid of tackling, which to play nickel in a DJ Durkin system, you have to have He's very rangy. Once again, speed, seems good at playing the ball. You can tell he's coached well, and he takes coaching well. I'm not saying like a guy like Donovan Starr isn't that, but I'm saying Kamari Todd, the addition of Kamari Todd with him going to Chattanooga for a year now to Auburn, he's more likely to be good for you at Auburn than maybe one of these guys who you're bringing in to sit for a few years. You need both. You have to have both to win, but it is an interesting and fascinating conversation.
That's such a unique way to look at it, because you're absolutely right. Who has the better chance to finish out their career at Auburn? A true freshman coming in this year at defensive back, or a guy like Kamari Todd, who has already sort of found that niche role at nickel moving forward? I think it's fascinating too, man. Like, I think it's fascinating they're getting these guys to come compete that were like starters at the place that they left. Like, that's wild to me. It seems like Auburn's got from nickel to free safety to strong safety. It feels like Auburn's got a ton of those guys. Like, there's a lot of players that can fit those roles. So he's not just like stepping into a thin room, that he's like one play away from playing. Like, there's a bunch of dudes in that room, and they're getting these guys that are coming in, even on the offensive line, that have starter level experience.
Yeah.
A lot of snaps. That just, to me, is, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I do too. And it lines up with a theme that we've seen throughout this portal class. And this did change over the last 5 or 6 days. You and I talked about it on the Barncast Sunday night. But a trend throughout most of this process has been, okay, hey, yeah, moving forward, the core of this roster, they're all true sophomores.
Yeah.
And Kamari Todd joins that group. Let me read you the true sophomores that have several years left of eligibility in just a defensive back room. Shamar Arnaud from FSU.
Yep.
High ceiling. Eric Winters. Literally no ceiling. New Boy Fagans. No ceiling. Blake Woodby. Incredibly high ceiling. Gavin Jenkins. Don't know. Shadrick Tootle. Don't know. Kamari Todd, I think, has a pretty high floor and a decent ceiling. Like, those are just your true sophomores at defensive back. That is the core of your roster.
That's crazy.
Isn't that awesome? Like, what a great spot. What a great spot to be in. Like, I don't think you got better at corner from year 1 to year 2, or from last year to this year. But I think your defensive back room as a whole is better for sure.
We were top heavy last year too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, past, it felt like past Jet. Honestly,
because Strader didn't pan out as much as we thought he would.
Honestly, it really felt like after Jay, it could have been anybody's game. Like, Jay, to me, was the only one where I felt like it was a no-brainer. Like, and it could have been anybody at any of the other corner spots.
And had a bad year. Yeah, sure.
He's had a bad 2 years, I think. He was really good his freshman year, and then just kind of regressed.
Yeah, I won't push back on it. I won't push back on that at all. So all in all, like, the defensive back room, like, the depth there is fun. Who plays where is going to be interesting, because a lot of those guys can play nickel and strong and free. And so that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Kamari Todd, very high. And once again, like, I'm not saying he's going to go out and start and be an all SEC player. I'm not saying that. But as far as a late addition and what you're looking for at this point of the portal and the amount of eligibility that he has left, and a guy that is coming in to be a depth piece, like, yeah, I am a Kamari Todd truther through and through.
Let's go. I say roll with it.
Hold on. You hear that?
What's that?
There's another tank coming.
Oh, right down the tracks.
That's next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Game Time's the best place to buy tickets. Doesn't matter what it's for. Football's over, which is wild, but still plenty of basketball. Plenty of home Auburn basketball games ahead of us. And you can go to these games. Just download the Game Time app. It's free. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege. You get $20 off your first purchase. You can see the view from your seat. They've got these flash zone deals that are super easy to navigate in the app for you to save on some money and time. Saves time as well. So just take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that is code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Thank you so much for making Locked on Auburn your first listen every single day. We got a new tank. Trey Proctor.
Tank Proctor.
Trey Tank Proctor commits to the Auburn Tigers. He is part of the 2027 class, which is very exciting. Very, very exciting. He is a 3-star tight end. I do think one outlet had him as a 4-star. I forgot where. Maybe it was on 3. I've got his 247 page pulled up right here. He's a 3-star here. But he is committed to the Auburn Tigers, and he is a 6'4", 213-pound tight end from American heritage down in the state of Florida. Love it.
Yeah. Look, the talk about him is how he just absolutely dominated this futures camp, the big dog camp. I think it's like a U.S. Army All-American camp or something like that. And I think in the one-on-one period, he scored 11 touchdowns. Just absolutely went off. And I'm looking at his last year stat. This is a tight end now. 30 catches, 604 yards, 11 touchdowns. If you do the math, for a tight end, 20 yards plus per catch, which is ridiculous. And not only that, his name's Tank, which can't beat that.
Tank Proctor? Are you kidding?
Let me have that one. His name is Tank Proctor.
His name is Fred Gaskin. No. Awesome stuff. So we'll see how that develops over the course of the 2027 recruiting class, who all joins him.
American Heritage is not a bad high school to get kids from either. I think that's where Anthony Schwartz was from, right?
I don't know.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, let's act like it is. I'm not going to push back.
A lot of good kids come from American Heritage.
Yep. All right, let's pivot to more roster talk. But obviously, Tank Proctor joining the 2027 class is awesome. Is there a room that you look at and it's like, okay, this room is worse than it was a year ago? And of course, we're talking on paper, which is tricky because on paper, I would say the receiver room, but like, I don't think it actually is. I don't think it actually is worse than a year ago. I think we're better. I feel more confident about this receiver room because of the context. And that kind of goes back to what we talked about. Yeah, the context does matter for sure.
Yeah, because like I would say, yeah, like wide receiver is a great example. Like clearly Cam Coleman, you would think it's impossible to replace him, but that offense was so putridly coached and executed last year. Did you even really need a Cam Coleman and an Eric Singleton to be mega productive? And I think this group has a chance to be more productive, even though they may not have the top end NFL talent of that group. So I think context absolutely matters. If you're asking like a group that I think is going to be a step down, I think corner probably. It's going to be hard to imagine that room's going to can be that much better. And then pass rush. Those are the two position groups where I'm just like, when I'm talking pass rush, I'm not talking about manufacturing pressure. I'm talking about strictly from the ends. Keldrick Falk, Kieron Crawford, Chris Kelly, those guys that actually pressured the quarterback.
Amaris, yeah.
Yeah, Amaris, yeah, exactly.
Blake Blockton, too. I mean, I know you said from the edge, but I mean, to act like he wasn't a factor in the pass rush, too. Yeah, and I think I believe this. Like, the cornerback room is going to look worse than it is if my presumptions about the pass rush is correct. There's a chance that they're going to be able to be fine, in coverage for 4 or 5 seconds. But if you can't get to the quarterback at that point, yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you would have paid Jay Crawford and Can to come back. No corner can cover for 6.5 seconds every single play. It's impossible. So that's going to be an element of this where I'm concerned. The D line I feel better about after Buddy Mathis from LSU. Like, I'm really high on him. That when the portal stuff settles down and we kind of do our rankings of what we like the most, or like, the sleepers or whatever, he's going to be high up on a lot of my lists. Very high on that addition. St. Farrier's just kind of sitting there too. I think he's going to be impactful
If you get DeAndre Robinson, is it pretty clear it's possible an upgrade from last year? But now you're still trying to find those last pieces to finish out that room. But if they were to have gotten DeAndre Robinson, I think there's a chance it could be a better interior.
I think there's an easier argument.
Yeah.
I mean, Bobby, Jamison, Travis, and Malik Blockton were so good.
Bobby is going to be, to me, Bobby's going to be the hardest one, I think. The low-key hardest one to replace. Like, he worked, man. That dude, he took a huge jump.
He's going to
be really hard to put. He's going to be really hard to replace.
Yeah, I mean, you hope Jordan Crawford turns into that.
That's exactly.
He has the ability to. It's just that's a lot. Once again, it goes back to this theme. Like, the core of this team is the true sophomore class. Your defensive line, true sophomores: Buddy Mathis, Malik Autry, Jordan Crawford, Darian Smith.
No, I completely agree.
Like, the core of every position group is that true sophomore class.
I really thought Crawford would pop last year, and he just never did. So hopefully you get what you think you can get out of him, and then you got a really good chance to be good on the interior there.
Yeah. I don't think they'll be done at D-line. I think they'll have to add a few, like, just from a body standpoint. I think you need to add more.
But back to your original question, there's only really two where I think it's to me, it's hard to argue it's not a step back, and that's just at corner and pass rush. But I do think there are pieces there that have the potential to replace it or be as good. I just think from a proven standpoint, you're probably taking a step back right there. But I trust Durkin with those guys to be able to put out a pretty good squad.
I agree. And I've said this before, specifically about corner. I think the answer's there. You just got to find it.
Yeah.
Can Andre Jordan be good enough? Look, the move might be to keep Champ at outside corner now because you have so many middle of the field defenders. And if that's the case, okay, great.
I still think we're sleeping on Rayshon Pleasant. I mean, he had one of the highest grades you can have in coverage against Arkansas this past year. I mean, he's like a 95 or something like that in coverage and overall. He's got a lot of potential to be a big time player. And if he can if he can take another step, I don't think I think we're underselling him maybe a little bit too.
Yeah. I have a fundamental question. Unless you're an elite player, I have a fundamental question of asking a starting corner to be my main return guy. That's just a personal policy thing.
I get it. It's been done, but at the same time, you don't want to risk it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. If he's your guy, if he's your number one guy,
your one or two guy,
those guys are so valuable.
Which I think we have a lot of number two corners, and that might be fine.
I agree.
That might be fine. I think Andre Jordan Jr. is a really good number two corner. What he was at UCLA.
More.
I think Champ can be a number two corner. That's what he was when his first year here before he got hurt. I think Rayshon Pleasant's a good number two or number three corner. That's what we saw him do last year.
And maybe there's a argument that in a way could be more desirable because it's interchangeable. You know what I mean? And you can keep guys.
Maybe.
First, I know you're not a big rotation guy as far as corners.
Not a corner. No, not. I mean, you just don't see the good ones do it. And look, there's a chance Blake Woodby says at spring scoot over. I got it.
Yeah, he's a dog.
And that would be awesome.
Would be fantastic.
Would be great.
Would be amazing. Would
be the best.
Would be elite.
Auburn basketball has an incredible opportunity tonight as they head to Oxford. That's next. I'm so sorry. Right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport Columbus. You can browse their inventory right now. KiaAutosportColumbus.com. Kyle, what if I told you that if you just showed up and said, hey, I heard about you guys on Locked On Auburn, that's $500 off right there. Any new Kia.
It's crazy, man. Do it.
Like multiple car payments. There you go. You're welcome from our friends at Kia Autosport Columbus. Go see them in person. They're right off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, Georgia. They've got incredible people there to help you out, make you feel comfortable. Look, they understand this is a big decision. They understand that anytime you buy a vehicle, it's a big, big deal. They want to make sure you have all the information and are super clear up front about everything, which is not super common in the car industry. Our friends at KiaAutosportColumbus.com can help you out with all of that. So check them out in person or online. Once again, KiaAutosportColumbus.com. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Stephen Pearl and the Auburn Tigers have a big one. I talked about this on a show that I dropped yesterday afternoon. Kyle, we did a crossover with Stephen Willis of Locked On Ole Miss. Auburn, Ole Miss are two of pretty much half of the SEC where we're trying to figure out who's who at this point. Like, you feel good about the teams at the top as far as the confidence of who those teams are, but really, like, 3 through 12 is just like, who's going to end up where? It's games like tonight that when it comes to seeding at the end of the year for the SEC tournament, maybe the NCAA tournament, we'll see if we can get to that point. I think a lot has to improve, and it can if you win games like tonight.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm looking, I don't know if this is an official line, but you're playing at Ole Miss, and FanDuel has it as Auburn, 1.5, so it's close.
Yeah.
It's close, and Auburn has been Jekyll and Hyde the last couple of weeks. And there's 4-game stretch that started Saturday that to me is critical for determining how this season goes as far as the conference finishes and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And Ole Miss is one you almost have to pencil in as a must win. And you got to do it on the road, which is not an easy task. It doesn't matter who you're playing in the SEC. You kind of hit it. There's that huge group of folks that, to me, anyone could beat anyone on any given night. So you really have to be sharp, and they got to go in and seem like there's a plan, there's an idea, and there's a way to bounce back when something bad happens. And that seems like what puts this team down is like whenever something maybe they're not prepared for hits.
Yeah.
There's no, whether it's pressure, like full court pressure, or pressure in the inbound, or whatever it is, or shots aren't falling. It's like they can't figure out a way to get out of that funk. So you're going on the road. It's a tough test. And boy, man, you need this one. You need this one really, really bad. You need to come out of this stretch 2-2 at worst. You really need to be 3-1. So you can be 500 before you hit the really tough stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a win would be big. A loss would be devastating, I think.
Yeah.
And you've got so many different guys who you have to be able to step up to win this thing. Can Keyshawn Hall get out of this 2-game slump that we've seen him?
There's no way that continues. Like, there's just no way.
I'm with you.
He's going to keep going out there and only scoring, single digits.
Yeah.
Surely they haven't, the league hasn't figured him out.
Yeah, I hope not. Tahad Pettiford. I mean, are we going to get back to what we saw from last year with Tahad?
Man.
Is Filip Jovic, is what we saw against South Carolina like the new him? Has he figured something out? I mean, it kind of looks like he has, but also people who know basketball more than me, we're talking more about like how South Carolina defends players. They don't put multiple guys, down low in those situations. And so was that just a game plan thing where Jovic was able to take advantage?
But it's really been the last several games where that seemed like a culmination. You know what I mean? That seemed like a culmination of events where
he got the minutes because he seems to be fully healthy now too. Yeah,
exactly. What's quad one? What equals quad one on the road now?
I think it's 30. They're just outside of it.
Yeah, they're 79th in net.
Oh, on the road it might be 60.
I think you're right. I think
I was looking at that from the other direction. Yeah, I think it's like 60. So it'd be a quad 2 win with a chance to move up. We'll see what happens with Ole Miss. They're kind of similar to us. They added a handful of European players. And their big thing was it's going to take time to mesh, and they feel like that's starting to happen, and they've won 3 straight. And this is one where, I mean, this has kind of become a theme when I've talked to other Locked On hosts throughout the SEC, where they talk about like, oh, okay, now it used to always be big to beat Auburn. Now they're kind of expecting to beat Auburn. That's the second or third SEC host that I've heard say that. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's what happens when we were, the face of the league for the last half decade, and now they want to get us back. And I don't blame them at all. I mean, that's how we felt about Kentucky, right? That's how we felt about, a lot of teams. So, Chris Beard, they want this one. So Stephen Pro's got to take it from them.
No doubt. They had that big emotional comeback win against Mississippi State where their whole fan base just completely melted down. I saw one guy, he was like, I'm just going fishing from now on. I'm not even watching Mississippi State play any sports. Y'all just call me back when we're good again. So could Auburn take advantage of, a big last second comeback win and maybe catch them off guard? It's a late tip, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 o'clock on a Tuesday. You got to think that that hurts the home court advantage to some extent. How much? I don't know. But do you
think you get those big home court crowds for this Auburn team? Like, not like it's I don't want to sound like negative, but like, everybody got up for those teams like the last couple of years, like let's go try to knock off Janai Broome and Chad Baker Mazzara. And there's not really a controversial player, and Auburn's not necessarily elite. So could that help Auburn?
That's
in
a good
these
question.
Type situations.
Yeah, I mean, for a while we had so many players that people outside of Auburn hated. Everybody hated Chad Baker Mazzara. They all hated Dylan. They all hated Janai.
Yeah.
How
incredible!
I guess we don't really have that because we're
not
at the. I'm sure if we were undefeated, somebody would have emerged, right? But that's just not how it happens. So,
how much fun has the Dylan stuff been
in Sacramento?
Yeah.
He blocked LeBron the other night.
Yeah. 2 alley-oops and 2 possessions. And it's crazy. And they gone like this crazy win, like little streak type.
Well, and he gets there and there's like clips of him singing like Christmas songs on the, like they love him. The same way we did, they like Sacramento loves him. And it's like, okay, yeah.
When you got a character, when you have a character that's works, you just lean into it. And Dylan is just, it doesn't matter where he is, just lean into it.
Even the NBA, like I know the Kings are the Kings, but it's just like, goodness gracious. Yeah, good for him. Couldn't happen to a better human being. Like, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Fun to watch, for sure.
Yeah. And then like, I don't know, if you just would have told me all the players on that year's team, like Dylan was the one who was going to like stabilize himself in the NBA first, I would have been like, there's no shot.
No chance. And be a thing. Like he's a thing. He's a trending thing in the NBA. It's crazy.
People love Dylan Cardwell. Good for him. That's great. Kyle, how can people check out everything you've got going
Absolutely. Go to thebarnauburn.com, sign up for our message board today, get in the action there, or the Barn Auburn on YouTube, or anywhere you get a podcast, the Barn Podcast Network.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.